Hello, we are back again live on YouTube. We are streaming. We'll wait for the YouTube algorithm to kick in. Let some people hop on board. We'll say something in the chat as always. Do hope you are doing well. I don't know if we'll get as many people on a Friday evening here. We shall see. Perhaps people are not exactly waiting for me to go live on YouTube. Perhaps they're doing other things tonight, but that's okay. We're going live because we are breaking news surrounding the eviction moratorium, and now we have some people hopping on board. Very good. Already some likes coming in before I even say and tell people to smash the like button, so I appreciate that so very much. If you are first tuning in, if you are first hopping on here, welcome. We're glad to have you on tonight's live stream. We've done a couple lives in the last few updates, and this one definitely necessitated going live because of the breaking news surrounding the eviction moratorium. We have some more people hopping on board. We'll do a quick sound check. If you're first tuning in, make sure you do a couple things for me. Number one, go ahead and smash the like button. Also, let us know down below in the chat. Could be on the left, the right, could be on the bottom, top, depending on what device you're on. Let us know where you are tuning in from and exactly which location, the state that. Hello, John. He's here. What up? Yes, yes. Hello, Michelle. Glad to have you on. Very good. We have some people hopping on board now. Again, if you're first tuning in, go ahead and smash the like button. That way the YouTube algorithm will do its thing. We'll quickly do a sound check on my end, though, just to make sure it's all good. We have breaking news surrounding the eviction moratorium. That's what we're covering tonight. Yes, okay, audio is good. Okay. So eviction moratorium, well, remember, it was extended by the Biden administration. That was the latest on the eviction moratorium. That's what happened, and it gave millions of renters somewhat a reprieve, a helping hand, that extra line of assistance that so many millions of Americans need, especially with unemployment ending and we haven't received a stimulus check. We're getting the child tax credit. Those are being paid out monthly. But so many millions of Americans are depending on the eviction moratorium to keep a roof over their head and make sure that they could even have a place to sleep at night. And that's so vital. Now, you know my position on the eviction moratorium as a landlord. You know that I believe that at this point we have overextended it. We have just stretched it out far too much, way too long. You're only making the problem worse and exacerbating the situation, because you extend another month, whether you extend another few months, it doesn't matter. The same problem is going to apply. The same situation is going to be where we are, and that's the fact that millions of renters will owe back millions, if not billions of dollars. That's where we are now collectively in back rent, as well as back utility and all that. And the assistance, the federal assistance to pay out landlords and tenants, only a fraction of it has actually been paid out, and it's been very poorly implemented by our federal government and our state governments as well. Only a tiny portion of the rental assistance that's supposed to go to help these renters, it's doing a horrible job, and it's really a shame to see that. So that's why the Biden administration felt so obligated, knowing that this rental assistance was not being paid out and not being distributed. Thank you very much, Mark. That it was so necessary to extend the eviction moratorium. So the Biden administration took it upon themselves and they extended the eviction moratorium. However, breaking news, and that's why we are going live tonight, is that this has now been blocked by the Supreme Court. So again, the eviction moratorium has protected millions of struggling renters and frustrating millions of landlords across the country. It has now ended for the second time in just 4 weeks, because on Thursday, the Supreme Court blocked the latest eviction moratorium, writing in an unsigned 8-page opinion, quote, "Congress was on notice that a further extension would almost surely require new legislation, yet it failed to act in several weeks leading up to the moratorium's expiration," essentially putting the blame on Congress and saying that Congress should have acted and they should have been the ones to actually take their part in the eviction moratorium, but never did, and they were totally distracted with other matters and didn't give this any mind. And so the eviction moratorium was put in place last September by the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. As we know, it would have been very dangerous for people to be homeless, especially with no vaccine, crowding up these shelters. There was no vaccine at the time. Crowding up these shelters, spreading the virus, it would have not have been a good situation for the homeless and people in shelters. So it was necessary at the time. Absolutely, it was necessary at the time. But the vaccine is being distributed. Anyone that wants a vaccine can get a vaccine. Anyone that would like to get a vaccine and actually is in favor of vaccines uh, essentially has gotten at least one dose. You can't really push too many more people at this point now. We're sort of in this place of stagnation where we just cannot force all these people that don't want to get it to get it. We're not going to be able to put the needle in their arm forcefully. So that's just not going to happen. And so at this point, there's really no reason to keep extending the eviction moratorium. It's just not going to work. And it's just screwing over so many landlords, and it's really creating a disastrous situation where millions and millions of struggling tenants are now going to owe back even more rent. And this is in the hundreds of thousands. They're now being at risk of being kicked out of their homes after the U.S. Supreme Court blocked the eviction moratorium in a 6-3 decision. And what we learned about from General Counsel to the Rent Stabilization Association, Olga Somaras, they had said, quote, "The solution here is not extended moratoria indefinitely. The solution here is getting the rent relief money out, making sure that the $2.6 billion of money that was allocated from the federal government reaches the hands of landlords and tenants who need that help." And that's what we've been saying for a long time now, that that money should be going out. Unfortunately, it's just not the case, and it's being very poorly distributed. Only a fraction of it is actually being used. We'll do a quick checkup here on the chat. Hello, Teresa joining us. Mark, hello, Angelo, coming to us from Houston, Texas. Again, if you are first joining us, make sure you do go ahead and smash the like button and tell us down below in the chat where you are coming from. So that's where we are right now with the eviction moratorium. And this will leave the White House with few options to actually help renters, because the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, did not uphold this decision and totally blocked it and overturned the eviction moratorium. And the Supreme Court is essentially the last answer. You can't get higher than that. They are above the president. And so there's really nothing that can go on here unless Congress does take it upon themselves to take action and extend that eviction moratorium. Then we would see a authorization of it, and it would be put back in place. So Congress must specifically authorize it. But if they do not authorize it, then it's essentially not legal. It cannot be extended. And there's no way to implement it without Congress's approval. So Congress has the ability to appropriate money and funds. We've talked about this many times when we would talk about stimulus package updates, is that Congress has the sole ability, the sole authority to essentially appropriate money and funds and raise revenue. And so that's why it's up to the Congress and not the CDC. It's not up to President Biden. So the Supreme Court ultimately overturned this ruling and has now blocked the eviction moratorium. Landlord groups were already challenging the eviction ban, and they were pointing to essentially when the moratorium was before the Supreme Court in June, and Justice Kavanaugh joined 4 other justices letting the moratorium survive then, but then he said he was only doing so because it was scheduled to expire on July 31st, and then Congress had to act on it in order to extend it. The landlords accused, as far as that association, accused the Biden administration of gamesmanship for ultimately reviving the moratorium after several top administration officials said in the wake of Kavanaugh's concurrence that they did not think the Supreme Court would uphold an extension of the moratorium. So the Biden administration knew this. The Congress could have seen it coming, but yet did not take any action to make sure to keep it in place. And that's why it ultimately led to this downfall of the eviction moratorium. And at this point right now, it doesn't seem like it's going to be extended unless we see Congress take action. But right now, Congress is focused on other matters. And we also have the problem with unemployment. That's certainly a tremendous issue. Hello, Michelle, coming to us from Torrington, Connecticut. Very good. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So that's where we are right now with the eviction moratorium. Hello, Teresa, coming to us from Huntington, I assume Huntington, Pennsylvania. Very good. Glad to have you on here. And so the eviction moratorium, it is essentially over. I think it's unlikely that we'll ultimately see it extended by Congress. At this point, I think it's a done deal. I think we have sealed the deal as far as the eviction moratorium. I do believe it is officially over. I would not anticipate an extension. So if you are worried about getting evicted, well, I would start getting prepared now and start looking for other places to have a roof over your head, because that is going to be your only recourse at this point. you're not going to want to get into the courts. You're not going to have to deal with the courts and your landlord trying to get back, in some cases, tens of thousands of dollars over the last, well, nearly year and a half, over a year and a half, that you owe money. So that's certainly something to think about if you are in that position. It's a shame that the assistance that was appropriated did not get purposefully used, and it was just sort of thrown out, and it has not been at all used correctly. It is truly a shame. That's where we stand right now. So, had to hop on here live, give you guys the update on the eviction moratorium. That's the latest. That is the latest developments. I do hope you enjoyed this live. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Joseph, coming to us from California. Good to have you on. So that's where we stand right now. I hope you enjoyed this update. We'll surely have more updates to come. Again, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, smash the like button. If for some reason you're not subscribed already, make sure you are subscribed. Click that big red button and the notification bell as well. If you'd like to get some free stocks, as always, go ahead and use the links down below in the description. Sign up with the brokerage platforms, Robinhood and Webull. You actually get some free stocks, some valued up to thousands of dollars in some cases. Follow me on Instagram. The link is down below. Follow me at Logan Cohn. And that is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this one. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care.